as you have watched these events over the past 2 weeks now, the funeral for Michael Brown Jr. is supposed to be tomorrow. As you've watched these events unfold, what they have labeled quote-unquote rioting in the press, many of the mainstream outlets, when I spoke with you before, you had some speculation that perhaps powerful racists, perhaps they would want black people to riot, so then they would be justified in a response. Is that correct?
Well, that would, in other words, it's like you're sitting at a chessboard and you're looking at what moves might be made on the part of the opposing side. We are in a system of racism, white supremacy, and my position is as a counter-racist, or someone who is resisting racism, white supremacy. So then thinking about, well, what kind of move might be made? And it's just like looking at or reading the history of what happened in Nazi Germany. You see, and looking at the patterns of behavior on the part of the German people as they moved against the Semites of the Jewish religion, because Hitler said they were not really white people, that they were mixed, but they were not white. And so therefore they were going to be killed. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if if a move was made to have black people start rioting, and then have black people rioting in major cities across the United States. And then you pull out your tanks and your guns and you round up the people and put them in concentration camps. Could that happen? I say absolutely. Or what could happen, since we are being told that Ebola is destroying thousands of people on the continent of Africa, and then 2 people have come back and they supposedly have been cured from Ebola, even though only white people were given the drugs that supposedly have the potential to cure. Black people weren't given the drugs, and then they ran out, so-called. Well, could they have an outbreak of Ebola? And so then black people have to be quarantined, or people have to go in hospitals, and so all the attention goes on to people who are, identified as having this highly infectious disease, supposedly for which there is no cure. All kind of possibilities. But I would say this, that black people should be forewarned. No matter what happens, cut out any rioting in the streets, cut out any kind of mass gatherings where somebody might be paid $125 if they threw a Molotov cocktail or if they started throwing rocks at the police. See, I would say that the battle is not with the police as much. The police serve a function for the state. They serve a function for protecting the state. If the state is a system of racism, white supremacy, their job is to protect racism, white supremacy, and that's what we see. Black people should be talking about, they recognize that we don't have a system of democracy, that we have a system of racism, white supremacy, and black people demanding, and certainly demanding from themselves, that they speak out about the fact that there is an existing system of racism, white supremacy. And this is the overall problem, because this system determines what happens to black people in economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, sex, and war. See, and just focusing on it's a problem with black people and the police, as opposed to the problem is the system, the total system structure of racism, white supremacy, a system for white genetic survival that necessitates If black men are perceived as being the potential threat to white genetic survival, then the logic of that system is that black men have to be killed. And if black men are killed, then that's genocide for black people. That's, in my view, where our discussion needs to be at this point in time. See, not running wild in the streets